welcome back to the Great Point Adewunmi channel. Today we're having a panel discussion. We're going to be talking about some things that we don't necessarily talk about enough. We're talking about some things that may be controversial. We just want to get you guys talking. So with that said, let's get right into it. So who are you guys? Let's know who you are.
I'm Jay, computer science major at Texas Tech University. I'm a junior.
My name is Olamikun. I go to Texas Tech University. I'm studying chemical engineering. I'm a senior, and I graduate May 2020.
I'm Yomi. I'm a freshman, and my major is biology. I'm pre-med.
Okay. Thank you guys for being here. I know you have busy schedules, so let's delve right into it. Okay, so I have 5 questions here that I want you guys to basically answer to the best of your abilities, so we can have a discussion, we can talk about them, and see what we can influence others to do. All right, cool? Cool, all right. Number 1 question is, what are some current issues with our education system in the U.S., and how can they be fixed?
You want me to go first?
I could go first. I think one of the biggest issues with our education system is the fact that kids aren't in class to learn anymore. They just kind of want to pass and get a grade. So it's just, they're just there to sit in class, just give them the information I need to know, and I'll just cheat on the test and I'll pass. And it's really affecting. It's affecting our generation because these are supposed to be the leaders of the future, and how are we supposed to have future doctors, engineers, if they don't even know what they're doing? And I think the best way for us to solve this issue is for teachers to be a little bit more interactive and make learning a bit fun for kids, and kind of switch it up, because I feel like teaching hasn't changed from 60 years ago. It's still the same thing. It's just regurgitated over and over again.
Just to chip into that, I feel like the standard of teaching in America isn't necessarily the best. I'll take our school for example. Kind of growing up, in high school, I had teachers that would literally force you to learn. You know, they'll make sure you got the information. They actually put a lot of effort and passion into it. And typically, they won't stop until you know the material. In college, it's a little bit different. I mean, I know they're teaching a much larger number of students, but I do feel like, there should be, to be honest, everybody cannot be a teacher. We have a lot of teachers nowadays that aren't necessarily good at teaching. And I feel like that's an issue because if you don't have a passion for teaching, how would you expect the student to have passion to learn? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's one thing that needs to be corrected. If there needs to be a more stringent interview process in order to become a teacher, or something needs to change in the educational system just to make sure that the students are actually understanding what you're teaching. Because if they don't understand what you're teaching, you can expect them to pass a class. You can expect them to use that information in the future to get a good job, but to pretty much just say they got a good experience, a good teaching experience from that institution. So I feel like the educational system just needs to be just kind of switched up a little bit.
Yeah, just to kind of add to what he said, I feel like in colleges today, a lot of colleges just focus more on hiring professors who are smart, not professors who can teach. Just to go off what he said, because a lot of the classes I've taken, I'm not gonna start mentioning any professors, but you can tell that these guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. They just don't know how to talk about it, professing it onto us. Because I'll be in that class sometimes. I'll just be like, okay, we know you understand this thing. We know you're smart and you're good at it, but you have to present it to us in a way where we can learn, because that at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, not to see how smart you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also feel like in colleges, we need to have more vocational training in colleges, because at the end of the day, we're all going along whatever path we want to go, be poli-sci, engineering and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it might not get us the job we want. Whatever path we decide to take, it might not get us the job we want. So I just feel like vocational training in schools, in colleges is gonna help a lot, because that way we learn to get like, we pick up one or two skills that could be useful for us in the future.
Okay. I have my own things to add, but you guys have seen that in numerous videos, so let me not take up their time. Okay, number 2. How do we maximize social media usage in order to have a better influence on society?
Okay, ask the question again.
You said, how do we maximize social media usage in order to have a greater influence on society?
I mean, I feel like that's a question that it's easier said than done, because the world we live in today, technology has grown so much that it's just hard to say, oh, how do we maximize? I mean, a lot of people, I mean, everyone uses social media differently. Like, a lot of people go on there for, news, and we can't say, oh, we're just gonna make social media like news-based, or like based on what people are looking for. Like, everyone has different interests. I just believe that question is, it's kind of difficult to like answer, you know what I mean?
It's a very complex question, but I do believe that we can make social media a positive thing by being positive ourselves, by what we tweet, what we post, what we Snapchat. It's a very hard thing to do, most definitely, but it's not impossible.
True. You can?
Just to go off that, I feel you can use social media to, in a positive light by promoting your skills. To give a couple of examples, not to name drop, but someone like DJ Khaled, how he turned Snapchat around pretty much. Through Snapchat, we got to see his personality, how funny he is, and his social media presence grew a lot, and that brought more income to him. Through Twitter, like, how people blow through Instagram. I just feel like if you're highlighting, the best of your ability, if you're putting good energy out there, and it's something that a large number of people can gravitate towards, you can definitely make the most out of it. And to also add to that, I feel like social media is very good for like advertising, for publicity, and it's also kind of free. So I do feel that, those are just a couple ways that people can make the most in a positive aspect, or a positive light of social media.
I definitely agree, and you can also support other brands, like
Exactly.
your friends' clothing brands, your friends' tutoring company, perhaps. Just
Exactly.
True. I would say I see more negativity on social media than positive stuff, so that's definitely something that we need to work on. I guess this is one of the issues in society today, but the third question is, what is the number one issue with society today? Now, there's different answers to that, so like there's no wrong answer, but what do y'all think? It's like, if you were ruler of the world, what's the one thing you would fix first?
Let me jump at that question. I was actually watching an interview the other day, and this question came up, and I feel like the major issue with society today is people are way too sensitive. I feel like sometimes you say something, and of course there are 1,000 different ways to interpret a certain person's thoughts or utterance or whatever, but I feel like people are just way too sensitive. Back in the day, maybe 5-10 years ago, you say something and people don't necessarily dig too deep into it. People don't really dig into your past to see, oh, this is where this came from, or I just feel like today people are just way too sensitive, and they read meaning into things that aren't necessarily meaningless. Yeah, I feel like that's a major issue today.
Agreed.
Yeah, to add to that, I feel like where the world is at now, a lot of people like to get offensive, if that makes sense. Because, okay, say I bring up a point, and I wasn't necessarily looking at the point from a negative perspective. Say I just wanted to know more about a certain issue, and I bring it up to this person who has a different point of view. Immediately the person just gets defensive, you know what I mean? And that wasn't no one really just wants to take a step back and listen to what another person has to say about a certain issue. Once someone says something, if you think otherwise, you immediately get defensive type thing. So yeah, I just feel like that's where the world is at right now.
I think our number one issue is that we as humans sometimes lack compassion. I feel like because it's just maybe we're on social media, we're just unreasonably mean to each other, or even in real life, we're just mean for no reason. And it shouldn't really be that way.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Yeah.
My answer was like lack of love. Like people don't love as much as, I don't know, maybe like before. Hunger, world hunger. And back to what she said, like people are just not compassionate. Cause I read something on, I think it was LinkedIn, and it was basically saying service basically breeds the most success. So like the more you give to people, the more comes back to you in a positive light. And I feel like too many people are just focused on their own thing, focused on being selfish and things like that. I always feel like your 20s are your selfish years. Like you don't have to have any selfish years. Just focus on yourself and focus on people and you'll be fine. You don't have to block out the world and just do your own thing, but you know, be more compassionate. It's good. Okay, question 4. This actually kind of goes into what you just said, but I want to know what is the main reason for the disconnect between human beings? What is the main reason we don't understand each other? And actually, that's funny because you all kind of just said the answer to this, but let's run it back again. Let's answer it again. Jay? I know you want to talk. I can see. I can see how you're looking.
Now let me put my thoughts together and then.
To be honest, I think I'll take that question from a different point of view. I think the major. Actually, can you say the question one more time?
What is the main reason for disconnects between human beings? Like, why are we not together?
I think people just highlight our differences way too much. And the differences could be different race, different language. Like the other day, I met someone from a different part of Africa, from a different African country, and automatically they were trying to take a stab at the country that I'm from, the African country that I'm from. And my response to that was just like, it's one Africa, it's one love, you know. I don't feel like, you know, we need to necessarily highlight the differences as much, and that is most likely where the disconnect comes from. So I feel like we're all put on one earth. We might be from different continents, we might speak different languages. Some people even speak similar languages. You know, I think we need to look at the similarities more than we look at the differences. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's miscommunication, and we as human beings, we tend to make assumptions a lot instead of just asking. You know, you might have a friend that hasn't checked up on you in a while, and you go, well, you're not checking up on me, so
You don't like me.
I don't like you anymore, we don't like each other anymore. And they might be going through something of their own, but we never thought, oh, let me check up on them since you're not checking up on me. We assume a lot of things, and it's not right.
Yeah, I think like the biggest reason for a disconnect is what Miko highlighted. But I think this is where love comes into play. Like if we all have love for one another, there shouldn't be that disconnect because we just see each other as, you know, brothers and sisters. So like we all should be one.
Yeah.
You know, like look at this person, oh, you're from a different country, or you're from a, you know, you have this color skin. It's just where love comes into play, and all of us are just one.
To add on that, not just love, but respect. You don't have to love somebody, just respect the fact that they're a whole human being. That's just it.
Yeah, huge facts. Big facts. Big facts. Okay, last question. This is kind of like a personal question, but what are, in your opinion, the best tools for personal development? So what are the best tools for making yourself a better person? What advice would you give people if they said, I want to be a better person, I want to have more skills, more talents, whatever, I want to make more of myself? What would you say are the best tools to accomplish that?
This might be kind of corny, but I think the best skill anyone can have to better themselves is to have an open mind.
No,
Because
that's not corny. That's facts.
because I mean you can name different, I just feel like having an open mind is just like the first step. If you want to better yourself, you want to look at new avenues of income, you want to look at how to develop new skills. First of all, I mean, you don't just wake up, some people just wake up and, invent a skill, but most times you wake up and you see, oh, someone is doing this, it's kind of cool. Let me try it myself. It might work for me, it might not. You want to try different and new things. So I feel like having an open mind is like the first step in bettering yourself.
I think perseverance is another one. Like you have to be willing to persevere, go the extra mile. Like sometimes you just feel like, oh nah. Like you just give something to try and then you just give up because you didn't get it the first time. Like you have to be willing to put in more effort to whatever it is you want to achieve. Because there is no way you're gonna achieve whatever you want to achieve if you don't fail a couple of times. So you have to fail a couple of times to succeed eventually.
Yeah, in most cases.
Yomi, anything?
I agree with what Jay said. Perseverance is definitely one of the things that would make you a better person and you can use as a tool of development. You can also have a persevering mindset, and you can also just not be allowed to stress yourself. Like I have developed a I cannot come and kill myself mindset over the years, and as much as it has helped me, it's also been my downfall in some cases, but I've kind of learned to balance it. Someone once said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting to get the different results. You have to try different routes to get what you want to get, and if it's not working, change the way you're going about it. You don't have to do the same thing over and over again. You're going to drive yourself crazy. But yeah, I cannot come and kill myself.
True. Keeping an open mind to different things. One thing that I would definitely say is a great personal development tool is to let go of your pride. Because you ever heard somebody say something like, oh, I can't ask this person what the song name is because they're going to feel like they put me on, right? Or like, I don't want to ask this person for where they got their dress from because they're gonna think like I'm their daughter now, like you know what I mean. But that's a thing that a lot of people have, like underlying pride. Like you don't really notice it, but it's like very subtle. Like little things you just be like, I don't care. Like I don't want to listen to you. But what I've learned is the more I just take advice from people. Doesn't matter if you're older than me, younger than me. It doesn't matter if you're higher GPA or whatever. Like everybody has something to teach you. So it just goes to the point, like no matter who you meet in life, they always know something you don't know. So you can always learn something from anybody. But yeah, that's basically, we've gone through the 5 questions. Do you guys have anything to add? You can tell the audience anything, honestly, any advice to better their lives.
The last question you asked, I'm just recently learning about it, but it's called minimalism.
Minimalism?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is basically you try and live the best life you can, but like not with as much stuff. Like you only take the necessities. So like you're buying things. If this does not bring you any value in life, you don't need to buy it. Like you have many clothes, but there are several clothes that you've never worn and you're never going to wear. Why do you have them in your closet? It's just taking up space. You spend money on things you don't need to spend money on. How's it helping you in life and stuff? And like for example, you're making 90K and you start making 100K. You think you're making 100K, that means you should up your spending. You shouldn't. It's not going to help you at all. Like, I already have a car. Let me buy a new car because I'm making 100K.
That's very, very true.
But yeah, I think minimalism is something that we definitely need to like add to our lifestyles because it'll definitely better you as a human being. And I'm just learning, and it's really hard getting rid of stuff in my closet, but I'm doing it.
You don't need AirPods to listen to music. Just because everybody says
like
AirPods.
broke.
Okay.
No, like
just because everybody says AirPods are cool and you need AirPods.
I agree with you. Like,
I just bought some $30 Bluetooth headphones and they work fine. Like
I still have my wired headphones.
Yeah, you don't have to impress anybody.
Yeah, you don't have to go get you don't have to go get AirPods if you use an iPhone 5. Like, just to feel the mode. Upgrade your phone.
But all jokes aside, I definitely agree. If you can't afford it, you don't have to push yourself to go get
You
it.
don't have to push yourself, man.
And then another piece of advice I want to give is I feel like people need to work smarter and not necessarily harder. You know, you can do a lot of things with hard work, but working smarter is definitely more advisable. It's pretty simple. It's easy to understand. Just work smarter and not necessarily harder. Like, you don't have to do the most amount of work to get the most results.
Most definitely. I feel like the people I'm around a lot of the times, especially Nigerians back home, they feel like you have to suffer for it to mean something.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. We work very hard, but not very smart. It's true. A friend of mine just sent me a video yesterday, and she was like, we're too busy being busy, we're not even doing anything. Like, you're just working hard every day, but you're not accomplishing anything. You're not making any more money, you're not getting any smarter, nothing's getting better, you're just tired every day. You're just tired every day. So, just take some time to think about what you're doing before you actually go in and do it. And I'll actually be releasing a video on that in the future, so look out for that. Jay, anything?
I mean, y'all pretty much said everything.
Okay, I guess we're done. Thank you guys so much. Basically, the purpose of this discussion is because we want to get you guys talking. We want you guys to have an open mind. We want you guys to have more discussions with your friends, with your family, more disagreements, more agreements, whatever it is. Just find a way to learn more and apply that knowledge to your life. Thank you for watching, and you hope you have a great day.
So I want color piano to the sound of the rhythm of piano. Throw your back out at the high notes, at the high notes. Yeah. So I want color piano to the sound of the rhythm of piano. Throw your back out at the high notes, at the high notes.
Look, hey, baby, let's get away for the day. I mean every word that I say.